Hello there, this is Dennis from Wildcraft Adventures. Welcome to another video of foraging. In this video, I'll be showing you how to forage for wild crab apples. So they're a very tasty trail snack, and if you do have them in your area, they're fantastic food to cook with. So let's get right into it. As you can see here, pretty much situated in this meadow, filled with flowers, wildflowers, different plants, trees, shrubs, and it's pretty much situated between one forest and another forest like so. Now in between these two tracts of forest, pretty much just rows of wild crabapple trees. Now they've pretty much since been rewilded. In the past it looks like they were tamed, but now the crabapple trees are indeed growing wild. So let's take a closer look into the tree. And we can see that the apples are growing pretty much in bunches along the edges of the branches. Now the apples do vary greatly in size. So one apple may be half an inch and another may be an inch and a half. I also found that all the apples here taste different from one another. So one apple can have a completely different taste than this apple here. And even more importantly, each tree variety will taste completely different. So this tree variety here may taste completely different than the one over there. So let's take a closer inspection into the apple. Let's pick one over here. Zoom in. I find the ones that give easily when you pull them are the ripest and are the best. I'm just going to rub it a bit off my shirt. You can see that this one has red stripes and is characteristically green. Taking a bite inside, you can see that the texture is pretty crispy. It's a bit acidic. I'd say it's even a bit sour. Some apples are very sweet, most do tend to be sour. So to show you the different varieties of apples, I'll go around the field and try different trees. I'll also give a description on how they grow and how to find them, spot them easily from a distance. So let's get scouting. So here we have the apple. Now we can tell that it's all green. It's got some kind of white spots on it. One thing that I've noted is that some apples worms have a preference for, and some apples worms do not like at all. So apples that are more sour and acidic, worms tend to avoid, and some apples are more sweet, which worms really like. So I'll open one of these up and show you how a wormhole looks like. So here I've opened it up. You can see this one doesn't have a wormhole. It's got this slight entrance of a hole. You can see it's kind of like brownish with some kind of like not sawdust, but worm tracings behind. The seeds are kind of darkish brownish. That's the color that you want. That signifies that the apple is ripe. If it's any lighter, then most likely it is unripe, and you still have to wait. Here you can see shape is kind of crescent shaped like this. So there we go. So here we have another apple tree. See, it's going right by the field. Now as we take a closer look, you can see that a lot of these apples are indeed spoiled. They've got these kind of brown blotches on them, and they've got like these cuts and stuff. That's usually a sign that a wasp was eating these. So this tree is pretty much covered in all those types of apples, these kind of brown ones. So that means that this tree is very, very appealing to wasps. So you won't get any good eating apples out of these because most of them are ruined. But that is a good thing to look out for. That also means that these apples are really good. So I've tasted them on the way here and they are really sweet, which means that some of them, which are fine, would be very, very tasty and rewarding to find. So here we can see is an apple with a hole. So I'll cut it inside of it and show you the worm. So here we have the apple cut inside. We can see that it's got this kind of worm chamber inside of it. So this is what happens when you see the hole. Now it usually tends to be on the bottom or on the sides, so that's the places that you look for, what you want to look for. I can still use these apples, no problem. The thing that I'll be using is the edges, so I can eat this. No problem. And it tastes really good. But that's the problem with using them in recipes. You'll have to peel them and core them, which does take away a lot of the apple's size. So here I've set up kind of like a little station by the pathway. So I've got my bag, which I've collected about a few apples so far. So you can see some of them do get really big. So I've been looking specifically for the bigger ones. Like this one's absolutely huge. Look at this. This is 2 inches. Probably about, 2 inches. Huge. So I found this really long stick. I think it was just a snapped young dead ash sapling. So what I do here is find the apple tree. This is actually a hawthorn tree. Find the apple tree with the apples on top. And then I just hit the apples down. I hit them. Can't use too much force here because I'm holding the camera in one hand. I basically just hit the tree. Keep on hitting it until an apple falls down. So this one just fell here. This guy fell here. So I inspect him, and if he's good, then I take him into the bag. This guy's way too small, so I won't be using him. See, there's also another apple tree here. So right by over there. And there's another one behind this thicket here. And another one right on the field right there. So I've been doing this for about 20 minutes now, and I've got about that many apples. Now you can probably do get that many apples in about 10 minutes. Problem with this area here is that it has been picked already. So a lot of these apples, this tree had way more apples before, so a lot of the apples are missing. People probably picked it, and they've kind of started to fall because it's kind of getting late now. That's another thing to take note of, is the season of the apples. Some apples will ripen really early, some as early as mid-August, but most about early September, and a few of them do ripen late September, so you can easily see if they're ripe or not by looking around the bottom of the tree. If a lot of apples have started to fall, then it means that it's over-ripened. If just a few have fallen, that's the time that you want to go ahead and pick your apples. So, as you saw in the video, I used the pole to hit the apples up in this tree. This is a pretty effective technique that really works well and efficiently, and probably the easiest because you only need a straight piece of stick and a kind of field plot. But there are a few disadvantages, and that is, as I mentioned, you have to be right beside a field or open space, because if you do this in a forest, the apples that you hit down will probably get lost in the bushes. Another thing is that some of the apples may break when they fall down, and especially if there's asphalt nearby, they might crush, so they won't be the best for eating. But if you want to cook, then it really doesn't matter, because either way they'll still turn to mush, as long as you don't keep them in there for too long, because once they are cracked, their total lifespan off when they're picked is reduced. So that's pretty much it for this video. Thanks everyone for watching. If you have any tips or advice on this topic, that'd be greatly appreciated. I hope to make many more apple picking and apple DIY videos later in the future, as well as an apple press, investigating more into the different varieties of apples, and planting my own apple tree. So, thanks for watching, stay tuned, and I'll see you guys in the next video.